Hello, and welcome to the new season of Confessions. This season is Confessions from the Damned. Main theme, the damned will pay. This season also has to do with werewolves and lichens. I also go back to ancient times and talk about jackals and different kinds of wares. We learn a lot of mythology in this season as well. God, I sound like Zach from Ghost Adventures. Today I'm going into this mysterious asylum. Anyways, yeah. So that is what I know. So much enthusiasm, right? A lot of changes this season. Not really. New story, different timeline. You'll also find that this season intertwines with season 2 of Hotel Hypnotico, Confessions from Then. But believe me, I'll let you know when that happens. So we're just going to get started here with episode 1. This season focuses around a group of werewolves, or should I say a pack of wolves, run by a guy named Landon and his friends, supernatural friends, and shit happens. So let's see what this season's about here. All right, let's get started.
We're all human, aren't we? Beneath our skin, there could be a monster in a form that you never thought could ever exist. Darkness surfaces in many forms, and sometimes you never know when, where, who, or even how this darkness will be awakened. Look deep inside. We have all seen our true darkness. Some of us choose to fight the darkness. Some choose to try and balance the darkness in their souls. But most of us succumb to the darkness before we are truly tired of fighting and exhausted. With darkness, there appears to be chains that hold you down with everything you do, whether it be friendships, love, relationships, even family. All of it, in certain situations, chain us down until they break us, or in the end, mostly, we would break the chains and overcome it. Somehow, something or someone always leads us to make the ultimate choice or decision that would and will send us over the edge from sanity into the hole that is darkness. And once you reach that point, it's hard to come back.
Alright, we're going to 2014 here, alright, just to set the timeline. This is when this is all happening and going down. So, excuse me, my bone itches. It's really hard to itch your nose with a bone. I'm sorry, I got off topic. Alrighty, so here we go. Alright, picture this in your mind. Pay attention, listen well. I'll try to be the best visualization that I can give you. But yeah, so here we go. Alright, so it's a full moon outside, and the sky is black with madness yet silence at the same time. In a bed in a house out in the woods lay 2 men. You can hear moans and grunts from the both of them. Oh yeah, yeah, those kinds of grunts. From the behind, all you see is a hairy man and his hairy butt, and it's fucking something. As you move closer and go to the front of him, he bent over in front is another man with a clown outfit on. Isn't that freaky? The man pushes a few more times and runs his hand down the back of the guy wearing the clown mask and outfit. The clown lets out a last loud, "Ah!" and he falls to the bed. Now the man behind him hops on the bed and lights up a cigarette. The clown removes his mask and says, "Now, darling, you can't stay. I have to be up early in the morning." The other man breathes in his cigarette and blows it out, saying, "This is not gonna work." There we go. We're just gonna turn this off for a minute. He says, "That's alright. I have to go anyways." The clown man escorts the other man through the house and to the door, and the man says, "I'll call you later, Landon." Landon says, "Okay, have a good night." Landon walks to his car and then drives off. The clown man goes back into his house and heads to the bathroom to start the shower. He turns the shower on and starts undressing from his costume. Undressing from his costume, you get the point. From the front door of the house, heading down the hallway, a darkness approaches. The man gets into the shower and starts singing an upbeat song. Do. This is gonna be the best day of my life. My life. Ooh. That he's just singing that song. Just singing it in the shower like he no other. Yeah. So now this thing is creeping towards the shower. It's like some kind of darkness. It's hairy and it's creepy, but it's so dark in the house you can't really see. Now the bathroom begins to fill up with steam from the shower, of course. Now the man gets out of the shower and turns off the shower after he gets out, of course. He stands naked and wet in front of the tub. He searches for a towel and his hand moves towards the bar of the towel. A hairy hand moves from the towel through the steam and he grabs the towel. So it's like, oh, he almost missed that hairy hand. Now he wraps the towel around him because it's really steamy in the bathroom, right? And he approaches the mirror. The mirror is filled with steam. He raises his hand up to wipe the mirror. He takes his towel and dries his hair off. So when he removes the towel from his face, he sees the face of a beast in the mirror. Like all of a sudden, blood is splattered across the mirror. And the beast howls. Ow!
To change, but the chains only bring me.
Hello, welcome back to Confessions. Alright, we're going to continue on with our story here. Now, Landon pulls into his apartment complex that he lives in, and he puts the car in park. He takes a little vial out of his pocket, he unscrews the cap, and he pulls out the lid, and a little spoon with white powder comes with it. He puts it towards his nose and snorts it. One snort in each nostril of his nose, because he's OCD, of course. He has to make sure that both nostrils get the same amount. He walks inside and starts walking towards his apartment. He approaches his apartment and begins to unlock the door. As he's unlocking the door, another young man steps out from the apartment next door to his, and Landon looks up. She's dying in your arms tonight. That's the song that's coming to mind right now. This guy has a buzzed dark head, like brown hair, but like it's buzzed, and hazel eyes. The young man looks back at Landon and smiles. Landon smiles back. Landon enters his apartment as he Landon enters his apartment as he watches the young man walk away. Landon walks into his apartment and yells, "Hey Eric, do we have a new neighbor?" Eric walks out from his bedroom, which is Landon's roommate, and says, "Yeah, I saw him moving in earlier today. I think his name is Liam or something like that." Landon says, "Damn, he's hot. I bet he's gay." Eric says, "You think everyone's gay." Landon says, "No, I think everyone is bi, not gay. There's a difference." Eric says, "Whatever." Landon sits down at his desk and Eric follows. Landon asks, "Were there any security breaches tonight?" Eric says, "Actually, it's been pretty quiet. I mean, usually the wolf bloods stir up something, but tonight, for some reason, it has been really quiet." Landon says, "Well, that could mean either one of two things. One, it is completely fine, or two, something is going on that we don't know about." A tall, plump blonde starts kickboxing across the room of her apartment when all of a sudden her phone rings. Ring. She picks up the phone and says, "Yeah." The voice on the other end of the phone says, "Hey Lana, can you come to the cabin quick? We may have something going on that I want you to see." She replies back, "Sure, Landon. I'll be right there." Before she hangs up, Landon says, "Oh, and alert the rest of the pack to meet us as well." The cabin in the woods. Pay attention, kiddies. This is the main house that everything takes place at. This is the pack's, like, Arrow and Flash headquarters, like, kind of like that. Excuse me. Alright. Now Lana drives through a curvy gravel road winding through continuing trees. She finally pulls up to a cabin hidden in the trees. She pulls her car next to two other vehicles and a motorcycle. Lana walks up to the cabin door and walks inside. As Lana walks inside, she saw that the rest of the pack were there with Landon and Eric. Behind Landon is this gigantic television screen with all kinds of maps, frequencies, and readings on it. A part of the map was blinking with a red X. Lana approaches Landon and says, "What happened?" Landon turns around and says, "We don't know yet, but apparently our sonic wave detector picked up howling in this section of the woods, and I think that we should check it out at least." Lana says, "Landon, we haven't had any incidents in years with the pack or any strays." Eric interrupts and says, "What about the wolf bloods?" Lana says, "The wolf bloods are completely harmless. Their parents should be controlling their cycles until they are ready to become, you know." Eric says, "Yeah, but we do have new people in and out of the town every day. How do we know that this one little incident won't be isolated to one incident?" Lana says, "Well, then let us hybrids go check it out then, okay?" Eric looks at Landon and says, "Whatever, man." Landon looks at both of them and says, "All right, Lana and I will go check out Section 8 of the woods and see what is going on. Eric, you and the rest of the guys stay here and monitor things. Where's Braden?" Eric says, "You know Braden." Lana says, "Yes, I know Braden, but where the fuck is he?" Lana says, "We technically don't know Braden's whereabouts currently." Landon looks around and says, "Fuck." Alright, now this is section 8, people. Section 8, we'll get to more of the story in, per se, episode 4. But section 8 is basically a terrifying place. Let's just say, think of it as kind of a Hummel Park from Omaha, Nebraska kind of thing. Like, it's that creepy. Because shit went down. Now, Landon and Lana trek through the woods into the darkness of what is left of Section 8 of this part of town. It is very dark, damp, and quiet in the woods on this night. Now, Landon says, so this really hot guy moved into me and Eric's building today? Lana looks at him and giggles and says, oh, really? Landon looks at her and jokingly says, yep, maybe this is the one. Lana laughs. Ha! Yeah, the one night stand. Landon and Lana walk by some bushes. Inside the bushes is a beast hiding, but they don't know it. I got ash. Now this beast is breathing quietly, and all you see by the light of the moon glancing down is the long, hairy snout of a nose with teeth snarling and dripping drool. Just growling. But quiet, more quietly, you know, like, you can probably not even hear that. Now Landon stops and says, stop. Do you smell that? Lana stops walking, and all of a sudden there is silence surrounding them in the whole forest. All of a sudden a loud growl is heard. And Lana's arm is sliced open by four claws. Lana screams, ah! Landon says, what the fuck was that? Lana grabs her arm and looks up with glowing eyes and says, I don't know, but it really pissed me off. Landon steps back and Lana transforms into a vampire with fangs sticking out of her mouth, and then her eyes pop out and her nose grows longer. Like she's Morphin Man. Like, while her legs get taller and fold back and like crack the knees back, you know how it goes. You've seen werewolf movies, picture it in your head. Landon steps back and Lana transforms into a vampire with fangs sticking out of her mouth. And then her hands turn into claws. Her back bends and cracks and pushes out, you know. Lana stands tall as a hybrid werewolf and growls loud. Landon steps back and his eyes glow black. All of a sudden, Lana is forced to a tree by a big hand with claws. And laying against the tree, she is being choked by another werewolf. This one much larger than her. Lana bites the beast on the shoulder and kicks the beast off of her. Landon rushes in, all transformed, which, since he is the alpha male, he is much bigger and wolfier than Lana. He knocks the beast up against another tree. Now Lana and Landon walk over to the beast, and they walk over to the beast, and the beast begins to stand up. Now the other beast, werewolf-like creature, stood taller than both of them, reminding you that Landon is the alpha. The beast rushes Landon, and Lana attacks the beast from the side. The beast kicks Lana off with its back hind leg, and she falls to the ground. Landon moves quickly, but the beast grabs his long tail and pulls it hard. Landon screams with howls of horror. All of a sudden, a gunshot is heard, and the beast howls at the moon. The beast runs off into the darkness. Landon and Lana transform back to their human states, completely naked, of course, because you know their clothes got shredded. Standing above them is a woman with a rifle. Landon coughs blood out of his mouth and says, Olivia, just in time. Olivia smiles and says, well, what else am I good for? Lana says, a shitty shot. Olivia looks at her and says, you know, a simple thanks would suffice. Lana says, thanks. Landon shouts, Lana, not the time here. My fucking ass is killing me. Lana and Olivia just burst out laughing. Landon, Lana, and Olivia head back to the cabin. As they rush in the door, the other members of the pack notice that they are wounded. Eric says, oh my god, are you guys alright? Troy looks at them and says, what happened? As Olivia helps Landon sit down, he says, I have no idea. The thing was bigger than both Lana and I combined and was much stronger. It almost seemed like another alpha. Lana bandages up her arm and says, well, whatever it is, we're fucked it seems. Landon looks at all of them and says, no, we're just going to have to do some research and investigate, preferably during the daylight. And whoever we are looking for has a wound on their shoulder now. We at least know that it can't be injured. Or, excuse me, we at least know it can be injured because it has a wound on its shoulder. Back at Landon's apartment, Landon and Eric are sitting on the couch and they're smoking a blunt. Landon says, dude, if you could have seen this thing, it was really scary. Like, Lana and I are two of the last hybrids around since the early 1900s besides my mother. Most hybrids don't live to see 30. We're a dying breed, literally. But this thing was like more than a hybrid. It was almost like a super hybrid. Eric says, could we be looking at maybe a new kind of species? Landon laughs and says, God, I hope not. Landon goes to step outside with his dog, an all-white English corgi, and lights up a cigarette to smoke. To the left of Landon is Liam, smoking a cigarette on his side of his porch. Liam shouts over to Landon and says, cute dog. Landon says, oh, thanks, yeah, she's my baby girl. Landon looks over to Liam's dog, which is a black lab, and says, aw, labs are such good dogs. Liam says, yeah, I got her when she was a puppy, so that's my baby girl. Liam then asks, so is that dude your boyfriend? Landon looks at him, laughs, and says, Eric? God, no, he's totally straight. Liam says, oh, that's cool then. My boyfriend Brad is inside. Just then Landon's throat began to clench because of those simple words that was, oh, I have a boyfriend. Landon says, that's cool. Is he a wolf too? Liam tosses his cigarette and says, excuse me? No, he is not. He is human. Landon tosses his cigarette and says, so then you are? Liam just kind of smiles and says, maybe. Landon yells for his dog and says, you should join my pack for a run sometime. Liam says, I would like that. Liam takes out a piece of paper and a pen and writes down something. Liam gives the note to Landon and says, call me. Landon goes to his apartment with his dog. Eric looks at Landon and says, who are you talking to? Landon says, oh, the new neighbor boy, but he's got a boyfriend. Oh, and he's a wolf. Eric says, huh? Seriously? What are the odds, dude? Landon looks at the note and it has Liam's phone number with a message that says, we should go have a drink sometime. Landon says, oh, just Liam's number. I invited him on a run sometime. Eric begins walking to his room and says, oh, yay. Don't forget, he's got a boyfriend. Landon goes goes to his room and sits down at his computer desk. Landon takes a blunt out of a pill bottle and lights it up. Landon clicks through some programs on his computer and pulls up a file. In the file is the name of a document called the 1692 Pact. He pulls up the document and starts reading it. A couple pictures are displayed that show a man turning into a wolf. The next stage, it shows the wolf on 2 feet. Then the final picture shows the wolf shaping into a half-wolf, half-jackal type animal. It reads that this type of were is considered bigger than an alpha male and hasn't been seen since the early 1900s. In another picture, there is a drawing of Rosamond, Landon's mother, and another woman named Charlotte. Landon blows out smoke and sits back in his chair. He stares at that picture. He grabs a note that Liam left and sticks the note on his bulletin board and smiles a bit.
Seven devils all around me. Seven devils in my house. Together I will come this morning. I'll be dead before the day is done. Seven devils all around you. Seven devils in your house. See, I was dead when
The estate here belongs to Charlotte, an older woman whose daughter Regina was engaged to Eric, but has since left Eric for another man named Leo. Regina is part gypsy like her mother, but Charlotte is one of the original wares from the time that Landon's mother, Rosamond, had reigned in power with the wolves. Regina, unfortunately, is not a wolf at all. Even though it is in her blood, she doesn't have any wolf abilities. Leo is currently the alpha male for Charlotte's pack. Leo is sitting on a chair in the parlor recovering while Regina is assisting in healing the wound on Leo's arm. Regina says, "You need to be more careful if you are going to start this war." Leo looks up at her and says,
"I know what I'm doing. This is what all these years of training has led me to as an alpha."
Charlotte walks in and interrupts. "I see you chose to go up against them tonight. And why, may I ask you? Do you think that it's the right time?"
Leo says, "They were getting close to the scene and I was basically protecting what we've started."
Charlotte says, "You mean what we've started. It's not the right time yet. Now Landon knows that you exist and are out there. It is just a matter of time before they know what's going on. Reach out to your contact and get him on board with the plan and finish the hybrid process. It's time to start to bring the originals back to the fold." Regina looks up at her mother and says, "What is going on?" Leo looks at her and says,
"You will know when the time comes. Now shut up."
At Lana's house. Lana is washing her face in her bathroom and getting dressed for bed. She hears a noise in the living room. She turns and looks towards the bathroom door and doesn't hear anything else. She looks back towards the mirror and shuts the mirror door. When she shuts the mirror door, standing behind her is the beast with glowing red eyes and a snout like a jackal. She screams and turns around. And the beast is gone. She falls back to the sink and starts crying. Back to section 8. We follow a path through the dark and damp woods. Lying on the ground is a naked Braden. Braden begins to wake up, covered in blood and nude. He begins to frantically look around and says, "Shit!" shit. Back at Landon and Eric's apartment, there's a loud knock on the door. Well, it's not very loud, but you know, it's like a po-po. Landon gets out of bed and comes to the door. He opens the door and standing there is Sheriff Haynes. Just wait till we get our hands on you. Sorry. Landon says, "Hey Sheriff, what can I help you with?" The sheriff gets out his handcuffs and says, "I'm sorry, but you're going to have to come down to the station with me." Landon says, "May I ask what this pertains to?" The sheriff begins arresting him and says, You are under arrest for the murder of Derek Wells. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney. If one is not present, one will be appointed to you. The sheriff escorts Landon out of the building.
As life moves on, certain things chain us down, whether it be your family, friends, work, or even love. There is no better hope than that of love. We don't mean to get chained, but for some reason we get caught up in the little moments that lead to something more. Sometimes it's the little moments that break the chains of darkness, but then there is always something bigger in play. As much as those chains holding us down try to change us, sometimes they don't. We try to break the chains, but the chains only break you down. Everyone has certain moments in their life where they eventually have to make a choice to continue going on or giving up. And it will always come down to the love of someone as damned as you. You will see what I mean.
Trying to break the chains, but the chains only break me. Chains only bring me alone in my night till she knocks on my door.